What's going on, everybody?
Hey, Kevin, about this because I know you guys obviously respect Brett a lot to come work for him, and you want to be a head coach someday. So, what are the main things you've taken away or learned about him during the first couple months here?
Oh man, there's so many. It's fun coming back to work for Coach Bielema and just to be reminded of what it was like when I was a graduate assistant for him and just how he ran his stuff. Just how he details his meeting notes, to how he addresses players, to how he addresses coaches. All those little things, and it's never attacking. It's never demeaning. It's always positive, and there's always a way to find a solution to a problem. The problem's not the problem, all right. The problem is how we deal with the problem, and just always communicating with everybody. And I think the one thing that's been great to learn since I've been back with him on my second tour with him is what he's taken from the NFL and brought it to this level, and just the details and the situational football of the real X's and O's aspect, and over coaching those details to these players has been awesome. And I think our players, and especially us coaches, have learned way more just in these short couple months with Coach B than we have probably in a while.
And I know you've been a part of some very successful staffs that have recruited good players. But I'm just wondering, recruiting operation wise, what has struck you about being a part of this recruiting effort so far?
I think we're building a huge family environment here now, and I think the ability of us to get in front of recruits and families and introduce ourselves and not talk anything about football, just talk about our families, has really struck a chord with a lot of guys and recruits, and we're stressing this family environment here, and now that Coach Bielema has a family, which wasn't the case before I was working with them. Now it's true. Like, we want our kids to be around when they can. With COVID being the doors opening up a little bit, we want that atmosphere to be around. And I think just the ability for us to get in front of these kids and parents and uncles and grandmas and whomever else is involved in the process, where they don't even talk about football. It's just about us and our kids, and everything else has been really, really kind of cool. And I think all of the recruits and their families have appreciated that aspect of it.
Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate it.
Hey, Coach, I was curious about a guy like Seth Coleman. When he was recruited here under the previous staff, there was some discussion, is he an outside linebacker? Is he a defensive end? Is he a rush end? For a guy like that, is he maybe better suited for this outside linebacker role for what you're coaching? Is he the kind of player you're looking for?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's really adjusted well to what we're trying to do. Watching him out in coverage, watching him rush the edge, and the ability to anchor down and stop the run. He's kind of, if you were to say here's a cutout of what we like to recruit, I think Seth is a great example of that. And it's been fun to watch him grow within this defense. We're 9 practices in, number 10 tomorrow, and each day he's gotten a little bit better, a little detail, certain something, whether it's pass rush, whether it's a run, stopping the run, or whether it's in drops and coverage. And it's those types of characteristics that we need to take advantage of and use so Seth can go out and play his best football.
And then I also wanted to ask about Ezekiel Holmes. He's a guy who was injured basically first 2 entire years here and such, and is working back from that. What have you seen from him so far?
Yeah, Zeke has a lot of tools. He's big. He has some explosion to him. He's continuing to learn, new position with new coaching and how we want things to be done. And each day, same as he's getting a little bit better each day too. So, I think as we move forward here with a guy like Zeke, is just to continue to stress the little details of whether it's I'm going to be more violent today, or I'm going to use my hands better on this particular block. But he definitely has tools that we're looking for, and I think he'll be able to help him contribute.
Thanks.
Hey, Coach, kind of wanted to follow up on that same kind of position group, of course, with Owen and Isaiah having very different bodily builds, I guess, in terms of their physical traits. What have you seen from them that's allowed them to really succeed in the first couple of weeks of spring, and maybe, I guess, some things that they're struggling to grasp maybe a little bit as well?
No, I think both of those guys have been able to kind of jump in and really embrace what we're trying to get accomplished. I think Isaiah has different tools, like you said. He's got a little more pass rush ability to him. He's lighter, whereas OC is a bigger, kind of more of a stout body that can play a couple different positions along the way too. So we're just going to utilize them to the best of their strengths right now. And whether it's standing up with them, which I think that they've really enjoyed doing, or if it's down in a 3-point where they can get after the quarterback and do some different things that way, that stuff has helped us too. And like, we're by no means a finished product yet on defense. We're still implementing new defenses as we go forward and throughout this week still. And they're going to have to continue to learn that position a little bit differently.
So I kind of wanted to follow up. You kind of hit on the versatility there a little bit and how they each are good at different things. How much of an advantage could that be come the fall when you're implementing an entire scheme that hopefully is a finished product by that point for you guys?
Well, yeah, hopefully it works really well. We want those guys to have some success. And I feel like, with what Coach Walters wants to get done and implement and instill the Coach Bielema's influence in there a little bit too, is the idea of, we want to control the line of scrimmage with these guys and lining them up in different places is going to be beneficial to them and for us at the same time. And, like I said, as we keep growing this defense, I think these guys I think they have the opportunity to really flourish in it.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Hey, Kevin, they made the announcement this morning that fans are going to be able to go to the spring game. What was your reaction like, coming here during such a strange year still, knowing that, this is kind of going to be your first interaction with some of the Illini fans?
Yeah, no, I was excited. I was like, hell yes, let's go. Different. I'm coming from Texas where, everything's wide open in Texas. So it was, when I moved back up here, I was like, wait a second, things are still closed. Because we had been kind of operating at a smart open level and where we were. So my kids were playing sports all fall, summer. And so I had to get used to kind of the northern aspect of COVID. So now that we got fans coming back in, I'm fired up that people are going to be able to come in and watch, the hard work that these guys have put into the weight room, the practice fields, all that stuff. That's what you play for. You play to be seen and to have big crowds out there. And I think it's gonna be fun for the fans to get out and experience something too that they haven't been able to do for a long time. So I think we're all extremely excited about what's going on right now. And especially now the doors are slowly starting to open back up. We want to see you guys and I'm sure you guys want to see us. So open arms, here we are.
Thank you.
Hey, Kevin, I know obviously you guys are still implementing stuff defensively, but as you get done with spring, what are the milestones that you want these guys to hit to know that they're, maybe grasping everything at a pace that you feel like they should be at?
Obviously there's goals involved with spring. We want to have this, and this. And I think there's like daily goals for each kid as they move forward on this stuff. But I think, we just want to show that, all right, this was an issue in practice 1. All right. Here we are in practice 5. Are we still making those same mistakes, or are they being taken off the film? And by practice 10, are they continuing, or can we move on to something else? And each practice as we've gone on, the areas that we have stressed to improve upon and need to be taken off the film are being done. And these guys are learning, and they're taking the meeting rooms to the practice fields and executing it. So that's the biggest thing that we like to see, is just the improvement from, all right, this is what you did. It's been corrected. Now can you go out there and redo it again and do it the correct way? And each practice on all sides of the ball, you've been able to see progress in that sense. And I can tell you this, from practice 1 to practice 9, both sides of the ball have got a lot better.
And I'm guessing maybe there's some overlap with you and Terrence from a coaching standpoint. Just, I'm guessing just given the nature of the position, how much overlap is there? What's it like kind of working in tandem with him to get these guys ready?
Oh, it's great, because, there's going to be packages where, we have pass rushers. So we're going to have to work games with the D line. And we have to execute certain things at a high level with those guys. So, working with Terrence has been awesome. He's a great young mind, a great coach. And I think it's going to be fun working with him and those guys throughout the course of the year. And Terrence has done a great job at every place he's been, as far as, getting those guys to play hard and be disciplined in what they do. And, it's certain things where I'm leaning on Terrence on certain things because he's got more expertise in that area. So it's been a lot of fun working with those guys, and we're going to continue to overlap and meet. We meet together sometimes, we meet separately sometimes. And we feel like whenever we need to do stuff together, we will. And he's awesome.
Thanks, Kevin.
Kevin, what do you think survives the test of time in terms of, post-COVID, especially with technology? I mean, does you feel like Zoom calls and Zoom meetings and FaceTime is going to be just as normal as telephone calls were, 10 years ago.
I think so. I think everybody's going to want to get back out and go see things. I think kids, like recruits, are going to want to go take all 5 visits this year because they haven't been able to do anything all COVID. But I do think, Zoom, I do think FaceTime, I do think all of that stuff is going to continue to be a huge part of the recruiting process. And even meetings, I can sit down and record a meeting and put it on our system, and then our guys can watch it, and I just think like certain things that we've been able to do during COVID are still going to be around. I read an article today about how certain parents still want to homeschool their kids in COVID virtually, and even when they can come back in person, they want their kids to do it from home. So I think a lot of things are going to continue to survive COVID, but I still think there's going to be some old things that will come back. I still think the face-to-face conversation in person is still a little different, and I prefer, but this has done a very good job as a replacement as well.
That's all good. Anything else?
Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate it.
All right, guys, enjoy the day.